It's the beginning of April, although you wouldn't believe it, and I'm on Carthagena Lake, our own fishery here in Hertfordshire, and it hasn't stopped raining. It has not stopped raining. I've never seen so much rain, although I've been away for quite a while, and I'm back now, but since I've been back, all it's done is rain. Anyway, beginning of April, and the carp are moving. This morning a lad had a 35 pounder up the other end of the lake, and over the weekend there was a couple of other fish out, and so they are well and truly now up and moving. No matter what the weather's doing now, they're up. So it's obviously a fantastic time to be out on the bank, and a time that I really, really do love being out. And it takes me back to the days when we couldn't fish in the close season. You know, they were shut March the 15th. They were shut for that period of time, and me and my pals, we ended up on the chosen venues that we were on, was just walking them day in, day out, looking at all these beautiful carps swimming around at this time of year from April and May up until they spawn. And it was kind of, to be honest, a big wind up. You know, we weren't allowed to fish them, no one was. And then they started the seasons. It was a very exciting time, because when we started on June the 16th, we were just buzzing for it. But the carp had other things on their mind, and generally they started spawning then, so it was all a bit of an anticlimax for us, and a bit of a good climax for them. Anyway, so as I say, like getting out now, at this time of year, we're so privileged to be able to be out now and actually fish for them up until they spawn. They're at good weights, they're looking fantastic, and yeah, brilliant time. And like I try to think back to some of my best spring sessions, and one that really does come to mind was I was up in Green Acres, Dave Menny's place in Peterborough, an absolutely beautiful venue. He'd only just took it on at the time. He invited us up there, me and a friend, and we'd done a couple of days, just a couple of day session, and it was freezing. It's pretty similar weather to it is now. The wind was belting all over the place, but predominantly down towards the dam end. And we set up in sort of like what was known to be a going area, but nothing was happening. I think I'd done a day and a night in the freezing cold, and decided to just have a little mosey about. And I went down on the windward bank. I think they call it the dam wall or the dam end, and it was bitter. The wind was blowing in. You'd think it was like winter, like today really. And I stood there for a little while. The tears were flying out my eyes with the wind biting into me, and then all of a sudden one just flopped over, only 10 foot from the bank, and I was like, oh right, this is a sign, so best go and get my gear. So I went and grabbed just a rod and a short flying kit really. I think I can remember I was on little white bait, white choddies, a little bit of lead core, and where the fish rolled I decided to just flick one in that margin, slackened my line off down towards where the fish had shown, and scattered a few white ones about. There weren't really many people using white baits then, so it was a massive edge. Anyway, sitting there for a little while on the old chair, and another one rolled. Could have been the same fish, literally right on the bow of the line going into the water. And I just thought, God, surely that's got to be a bite. And then not long afterwards, I don't know how long, but the line slowly pulled up, and I was into a scrap with an absolute like peach of a common. It went 36 pound, an absolute banger, with a big sloping head on it. Oh mate, I was made up, absolutely made my trip, you know. But then I'm thinking, like, with that one caught, I now need to go and get the rest of my tackle and spend the next night in that area, surely, you know, wasting your time at the other end. So anyway, went and grabbed the rest of my setup, got all my gear down, set about the rods, I had one on the same spot close in, obviously, and then I found a little feature out a little bit further, just scattered some white ones around, little white choddy, and sometime during the early hours of the morning, I've had a ripper on the longer rod. And it just showed you that these fish were in the vicinity of this area. Had I not been looking when I was at the other end, I would never have known. I would have sat there, blanked, gone home. Yeah, it wasn't a bad session, a bit cold, but like I would have blanked. Anyway, with the walk down and see this fish show, it put me on another bite. And scrapped really, really well, this fish. It went hell for leather, like, you know. I'm thinking, what have I got on here? I do know that it previously had done a big common. I think Danny Fairbrass caught it. Can't remember the weights, might have been low to mid 40s, absolute belt of a common. And I think because Dave had only just sort of been there not too long at the time, that was the biggest fish they knew in there. And anyway, I've landed after, it was a good scrap, like it was quite deep in that margin, and I just remember it battling for ages, like I'm thinking, am I ever going to land this fish? Anyway, after a big scrap, I bundled this really stocky, deep, wide common into the net. And without even weighing it properly or looking at it, I just thought, that's got to be the one Danny had, surely, it's massive. Anyway, I didn't know no different. I put it in a retainer for a couple of hours till Dave come round. The water temperatures were nice and cold, so that she was all right in there. I got on the phone to Dave, first light. I said, you better get round with a coffee. I said, I've got a big common, possibly the one Danny had. Anyway, Dave was soon come round to see us, and we got the fish out, ready to sort the photos out and weigh it. And he went, oh, I don't know that one. He said, that's a new one on me. And I was like, oh, wow, even better, like, you know, a fish that's why it's quite an important little memory, because it was one that he hadn't known at the time. And it went, I'll have to double check, but I think it was 41 plus, something like that. And it wasn't the fish that Danny had. So I was absolutely, as you can imagine, made up, and so was Dave. And a really, really memorable little trip. But what makes it so memorable is the fact that you can't just sit there. In the early stages, like now, it's still cold. These fish are moving. Somewhere these fish are moving. Like over here now, I know they're in the reed beds over there. So to be near that area where they're coming out the reed beds and going up and down the reed fringes is well worth a single look bait. You just got to keep your eyes peeled. They do show. They will be showing their subtle shows in the middle of the night where they're starting to get about now. And with that move that I did, or with that walk, and going, you know, it's worth reeling in. If you're sitting on blank rods, reel them in, go and have a look round. I mean, as it gets warmer, it becomes more evident where they are. They're scattered about everywhere. But at the minute, they're just waking up. They're up in the layers a little bit, and they're showing. You know, they're cleaning off and they're feeding. So, you know, we're into April now. It won't be long, they'll be spawning. So this is a real good time to be out there and get looking. Don't sit on your, you know, don't just sit there like, you know, it's going to happen later, it's going to happen tomorrow. It probably won't. So get up and look. If there's room to move, go and move on them. Try and find any signs, and you're bound to be pretty close to them, as I was, you know. And with that little move and walking down and seeing that fish roll, that caught me 2 absolute belters and made a really good spring for me.